Continuing in the bracha, davening for the rebuilding of Yerushalayim, Ircha Barachamim Tashu, we ask Hashem to return to the city of Yerushalayim, Sishkon Besocha Ka'asher Dibarta, to dwell, return His presence to the city of Yerushalayim, Ubenei Osa Bekarov B'Yameinu Binyan Olam. And we ask Hashem now to rebuild Yerushalayim, the Beis Hamikdash, Karov B'Yameinu, soon in our days, Binyan Olam, an everlasting building. And the Yerushalmi tells us famously that any generation that does not rebuild the Beis Hamikdash in their time, it is as if they have destroyed it as well. But the question arises. We know there's a concept of Yeridas Hadoros, that over time, as we get further from Matan Torah, as the generations go on, we generally assume that we are not on the same level as the previous generations. And so how is it that we, in the 21st century, in 2022, can be davening to Hashem to rebuild the Beis Hamikdash when so many generations of so many tzaddikim and chasidim have passed and they have been unable to do so? How are we able to do what the Rambam and Ramban were unable to do? How are we going to be able to do what so many great ancestors were not able to accomplish? And that's a real question that we may struggle with. But I'd like to share one answer given by Rabbi Yitzchak Kerzner, who suggests an alternate reading of the bracha. When we say the line, when they osa bekarov b'yameinu binyan olam, to build it soon in our days, an everlasting building, while that is the simple reading, binyan olam can also be interpreted as a building of the entire world. Meaning to say, he suggests that the final Beis Hamikdash, the third Beis Hamikdash, will not purely be rebuilt as a merit of our actions, of our generations, but it is a collective effort of binyan olam, of the entire world, of all of Jewish history. It is not despite the lack of rebuilding from previous generations, but it is on top of. They have already laid the foundation. They have already added some bricks, and now it is our turn to do our job. And in that generation, in our generation, it's not that we'll achieve greater heights than the previous generations, but we'll top off, we'll complete what they have already started, rather than each generation being its own battle, its own chance. Each generation builds on the previous one. Rebuild it soon in our days. Binyan Olam will allow the building of all of Jewish history to culminate soon in our days.